Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Doodling or going in?
Why don't you do a short noodle? And
Okay.
Oh, we're live now. So just go for it.
2nd of July, and we're talking about freedom today, and we're going to be moving through some process with Ron Frost doing some readings and speaking, and Phil with music, and myself with, we'll do some meditative experiences. So we'll have an interesting morning. Thank you all for adjusting to our church under the tree. Turns out we were given the wrong code. We got the right code at, of course, 11 o'clock when we were starting. So restrooms are opened. There is cool water inside if you need that. And the bagels, but no coffee, will be available afterwards inside. So we're, I would say we're on Plan D. We did discard the ideas of actually trying to take the doors off their hinges, but they're a little too secure, and we decided not to do damage. So here we are. So I appreciate everyone's willingness to bend and adapt with us as we've all done here. So freedom is not the theme for the month. I can't remember at this moment what it really is, but freedom is definitely the thought for the day. And
speaking truth to our circumstances.
Speaking freedom to...
Speaking truth to our circumstances.
Speaking truth to our circumstances. Okay, we're doing freedom, which ultimately freedom. All right, very good. And I a cappella, so because I like it, and I think it makes the point of what we're doing today. So, and at the end, I'm going to ask you all to sing along with me. It's really simple. You have one word. It's called Amen. and do your best to do some sevenths, minor sevenths harmony, because it's a little gospel-y at the end there. So here we go. The song was written by a friend of ours, Jan Garrett, who my wife actually took foundation and I think roots class with her back in 1998-99. So we've known her a while, and her husband, J.D. Martin. The song goes like this. This is what I know, we are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. And everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. And so I receive all I can be. Now I let it go with such appreciation, with sheer exhilaration. I set it free, and so it is, and so be it. When I sing it, I hit it. Well, I must sing, and now we begin. This is your part. Amen. Let me hear you now. Amen. Amen. Let's down. Amen. 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 And you've heard Elaine Silver do a number of 5-step treatments, and that one sort of speaks it. And what I liked about it, it's simple. We're talking today about spirit, mind, and body, and I've got the symbol up here. And those of you that have done it before, the top part represents spirit, or the divine idea, or in the physical model that we've had in classes, seed, soil. This is where the seed comes from, that divine idea. The next layer is soul, and that's or soil, where that or mind, where that idea germinates, begins to become a divine idea, begins to become a thought, a mental equivalent, and then the bottom is physical form, or the soil. So if you, the simplest one is seed, soil, plant, but we've got divine idea, our mind, and we move into the actual form itself. Lots of teachers will say everything is created twice, once in mind, and the second time in form. So Phil has another. No, we don't. We're moving to Ron. I'm sorry.
So that's beautiful. And thank you, Reverend Emil, for This Is What I Know. And this is what I know, along with that song. This is what I know is that true freedom is you can be locked out of your spiritual home, but you can be locked out of the house of God. True? Yes, absolutely. And to welcome you here today, and knowing that our forefathers, it is really not just per this country alone. It is a human quality, it is a spiritual quality, and that freedom and liberation and divine truth is to be understood and embodied at the level of consciousness, to where we know that regardless of what's going on in our life, or regardless of what's going on in the world, whether we like it or we choose to think differently, that true freedom comes from understanding that we are divine beings of God, that we are divine beings of light, that we are sacred, and knowing that we can choose to change our thoughts and change our life. I can quote many different songs, but probably one of my most favorite, probably one of the most foundational ones, one that you've heard many times before, is plainly that there is a power for good in the universe and you can use it. Isn't that amazing? There's a power for good in the universe and you can use it. And so in knowing, and part of my life was, trying to understand spirituality, spiritual concepts, to the point where I can use it for myself and I can teach it to others. Thank you, Hector. Is that better? All right. And so one of the things I would say is, as I journey through this, and I continue to journey through this, is you don't need to know it all to use it. True? Yes. There's an interesting quote in the Tao Te Ching, Tao meaning the way, or God, or the infinite, and it was written by Lao Tzu in the 4th or 5th century. Some people say it's the 3rd century BC, but whatever. It was a book that was written about the Tao. And basically the first sentence, the first line is, to those who can describe the Tao, that is not the eternal Tao. It is hard to understand God from a human existence with human language and a human experience. But if we can understand the triad nature of the divine and how consciousness works, we can use it, the power for good in the universe, and we can use it, then we can change our thoughts, change our life, and I like to take it even further, change our life, change the world. True?
True.
And so, as Reverend Emil expressed, sometimes the simpler terms I find is easier, like the seed being spirit, and then the soil being that law of mind, or the feminine aspect, that which receives, and the seed being the masculine aspect, and then the plant being the birthing, or the baby, or the child, or the newborn idea that's brought into a manifestation. And this is seen throughout all of our world, and to know that we at any moment can plant a new seed. Regardless of what's going on in our life, we can, instead of being victim to whatever the situation is, we can plant a new seed. And my dear and loving wife, Fani, and I, we did this years ago. we decided we were looking for a spiritual home. Basically, we wanted to find like-minded people that we could gather with. And our seed was that. It was just like, how do we figure this out? And keep in mind that we both grew up in different religious backgrounds. And we didn't get along. It wasn't that we don't acknowledge and love what religion does, but we found that it was not necessarily serving us. And she grew up in a Muslim country with a Muslim background, and I grew up with a Catholic mother and Protestant father, lived in a Jewish neighborhood. She grew up Muslim, I grew up confused. And so we had actually somehow got invited to Unity. I'm really familiar with Unity. We're Unity of Fort Myers. We're living in Cape Coral, and we're making a drive over there. And we're like, this really feels like home. This feels good. But, the drive is a little tough on a Sunday morning. And we really were thinking, wouldn't it be neat if there's something like this in Cape Coral, Florida? And so the seed that we planted, the infinite mind, obviously accepted the idea that here were two couple with their two children searching for something and wondering if there was some sort of spiritual home that was convenient. We owned a sign company called Sign Mart, and it was on Del Prado Boulevard. And we lived not far away from that, and we drove down this road called Del Prado Boulevard, and adjacent to this road was 24th Avenue. And wouldn't you believe it, there was a Science of Mind Center. We just didn't know. It wasn't until we had an invitation from somebody that actually, when we drove by it, because it said the First Church of Religious Science. And I finally figured out the address, and I'm like, well, I was looking for the Center for Spiritual Living, and somebody said, yeah, this is it. And I walk in and I meet Reverend Emil and listen to one of his beautiful messages, and afterwards we're talking in the lobby, and he goes, do you happen to know a sign company? And I'm like, yeah, well, that's kind of what we do. And the story goes even beyond that. It actually, we had a problem with I don't throw anything out. And I know it's supposed to recycle, but I had these 2 sheets of acrylic. They came in 4x8 sheets, and I had them custom cut to 23 1/4 inches. Or actually, I'm sorry, 43 1/4 inches. Because they didn't fit a job, and turns out that they were so small for this other job that they ended up falling out. They couldn't be contained, and so instead of throwing them out, I stored them for probably over a year. And then when I got this call, I went out there with my tape measure, and I'm like, 43 1/4 inches. God couldn't be more perfect. Welcome to your spiritual home. So as we kind of commune with the divine and understanding that there is infinite possibilities, and the idea of the divine surfaces up in us when we quiet our mind, when we go into the silence, when we allow the distractions of the outer world to fade away. And so in this next song, which is Come Into the Quiet, is really about that, really being able to allow yourself to commune with the mind of God, to be in touch at that level where the sacred sense of beingness is expressed through you.
The storm to a place where time stands still, spirit is reborn. Come to the quiet, take your place among the stars. Come to this place, come as you are. Trust that place inside that's calling you home. Come into the quiet, wrap your heart around all the love that's here for you, waiting to be found. Come to this place, to the stars. Come into this place, come as you are. Come as you are. We don't need in this place in time. Just tell on down the road that's laid before you. Settle back around your heart, you'll find peace of mind. Trust that place inside that's calling you home. Come into the quiet, like the silence says, all the things you like to hear each and every day. Come into the quiet, give your answer to the stars. Come into this place. Come into this place. Come into this place. Come as you are. Come into this place. Come as you are. As you are. Thank you. So come into the quiet. We're going to move into that quiet for a moment here. Few moments. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. We're in this space, this infinite space of spirit. And just take a moment to feel the allness that surrounds us. Maybe is even more perfect that we're outside rather than inside, because there is no ceiling above us. We can have that idea that the infinite goes on for infinity without having to imagine it. And imagine that your being is like a giant receiver, a funnel, if you will. And all that spirit is flowing into you. Ernest Holmes says so many times in his prayers and talks that I've heard, in, through, and as you. In, through, and as you. In, through, and as each and every cell, each and every organ, action, and function of your being. The divine perfection. So when we start with this idea of spirit, this idea that we can grasp its vastness and its universality, that there is no limit on it, there is no place where it is not. I always like the line, there is no place that God is not. I'm not sure if that's a double negative or not, but feel that sense, that feeling that you are infused with the divine idea. In fact, your whole being is a divine idea. And just feel that for a moment. Feel the magnificence of that, the expansiveness of that, the power and the presence that that represents. And allow that to wash over your being. This is not a mental activity. This is a being activity, an activity of just simply knowing. And as Ron said, like with the Tao, if you can describe it, it's not that. It's always more than that, always something more than that. And each one of us is more than whatever you see in the mirror, whatever somebody else has told you you are. You are the perfection of spirit expressed in form. As I started with the symbol, the V that we all see at the top on the left side is that divine idea, and the descending down to the point is from spirit into form. So we're in the space of spirit right now, engaging ourselves in this divine idea. Just allow yourself to experience that expansiveness for a moment. That infinite nature, that expansion beyond all imagination. Walk to the edge and then go another step further. Flowing and moving into that space. And now that we've embodied spirit, I'm going to turn it over to Ron.
And as we plant the seed into the divine garden of life, the infinite mind, the creative soul, that which does but doesn't think, that which is impersonal, which doesn't necessarily grant more favors to one side of the room than the other, that which is a garden to which we actually tend or tend not, because it is the divine mind of God and it just does its thing. And yet, as we plant seeds, how often do we have an excitement, a desire, an intention? But somehow, along the way, we grow weeds in our garden. The doubts, the fears, the naysayers. And sometimes we embody that. Or sometimes they're triggered emotions that we've carried throughout our life. Or as Holmes says, there's race thought within the mind. There's subconscious and unconscious ideas and thoughts and programming. But the truth is, when we can work together with a practitioner, or we can apply the things that we know in this teaching, we can become liberated. We can pluck out those fears, those doubts, those worries. Just last week, I'm part of a business networking group that meets at the Rusty Bucket. Who knows the Rusty Bucket across from the mall? Every Wednesday, we gather and we support business people, owners of businesses, representatives of businesses that come, and we're trying to actually broaden their scope of meeting people and making connections. And this young lady came in, and she was a mortgage originator. And somewhere along there, I think I just asked her to share her story. And one of the things that she brought up was one of her very first contacts that she made, which was a couple years ago, was a lady that had gone through a very difficult divorce and had found herself homeless. Well, for a mortgage originator, for this being the first contact and the first client, I think she said her supervisor said, this is not a qualified prospect. You know, you think in business terms, like this is not a qualified prospect. You know, maybe you should move on and find somebody else. And something about the nature of this young lady that wanted to help weed the garden, that wanted to help bring positivity to somebody's life, that wanted to somehow bring hope and understanding and possibility. Because there is a seed that was planted, and the seed that was planted was the desire to have a home. And as 2 years went by, and she would share things about how to improve your credit, different tech things that she got as she built her, she didn't like with this woman and life herself a home. When two of our minds come together, anything is possible. There are times when we may find ourselves not seeing the possibility for ourselves. Reach out to a practitioner. Reach out to somebody who has your back, who has your corner, and know that the divine always has your back. Because in true reality, in life, there is so much magnificence that sometimes we limit that just because we're unable to see it, unable to know it for ourselves. And this next song, which is titled So Much Magnificence, allow yourself to know that in the garden of life, no matter how many weeds may have your focus, beyond that, there is an infinite presence of God, and there is so much magnificence.
There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. It's the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. Just imagine yourself being out by the Gulf and the waves of beautiful, translucent water coming up around your feet. Waves are coming in, bringing you to a place of infinite possibility. There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. As I sing this next part, please join with me in just marveling at being outside today and being enveloped by all that's around us. just imagine all there is. Just keep singing that. There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much sense near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence near the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in.
Yes, thank you. And so in that infinite space, the infinite mind, that one mind, is that infinite possibility. It's maybe perfect that we're underneath this magnificent oak tree, which started as, guess what? A tiny seed. Now, it's a big seed compared to things like mustard seeds and broccoli seeds and whatever. You know, maybe what, 3/4 of an inch tall and maybe ½ inch round, but nothing in size compared to the actual tree. But how did that seed become the tree? What did that seed have to do? What do we have to do to move from the divine idea into that infinite soil, that infinite impersonal, and this is the part I love, it's impersonal in the sense that whatever gets put in there, it will grow. It doesn't say, oh, I don't like what Angelica put in here, or I don't like what Laura put in here, or Ed. It's like, come and grow, come and grow. But like the lady that lost everything and was homeless, she had to have a bigger idea. She had to die to her former self. She couldn't try to reach backward. The seed doesn't try to stay a seed. It has to die to being a seed. It has to become something else. It has to break out of all of its seedness, right? It has to break out of that shell, break out of that protective layer that nature gave it, and burst into a new form. And that's what we do. So you just see yourself, whatever looks like a roadblock, whatever looks like something that might be stopping you, some idea that is too big to overcome. This is where in our mind, was beautifully, is there's a power of good, and it allows us to become more but never less than what we were before. That allows us to break out of that little seed container that we might see ourselves stuck in, and break out and branch out and blossom into something new. So we're in this beautiful garden. All of these plants, including the grasses, at some point had to break out of their tendency to stay a seed and burst forth into something beautiful. So as we're in that soil, that infinite soul, that infinite mind, germinating that new idea, that new expression of who and what we are, knowing that there is a possibility, whatever it looks like. We're not moving, we can't go backward. We can only keep moving forward and moving into that new space, moving into that new mental equivalent. It's like seed, the oak seed, looking at the tree, asking for advice. And there's lots of wonderful material available now that actually know their seedlings as they're sprouting in the forest. That the mother tree, in effect, nurtures the seedlings that have sprouted up from its own seeds. So, like infinite spirit that flows into that soil, into that growth medium, we are being nurtured to grow and expand and express more and more of who we truly are. So as you just feel yourself, what is that you're being called to expand into? What are you being called to leave behind? What is that newness? And know, simply know that it is absolutely possible now and in every way. That old thought, that limiting thought, because spirit has no limits. The infinite mind, that fertile growth medium, has no limits and no judgment. This is what sometimes we talk about love and law, and to me they're so intertwined, because God, or spirit, the universe, loves us so much that it doesn't judge us. It doesn't discriminate. It simply says, grow, 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 and grow. So for yourself, grow. Ron?
It simply says, grow, grow, and grow. And as we ponder in a triune aspect of the divine, and knowing that the seed that is planted in the soil becomes the manifestation of the one mind, the manifestation on levels such as what we call the time-space reality of planet Earth, and perhaps even other dimensions that we may not necessarily be tuned into, but we know that there's manifestations beyond, visible and invisible, but also the manifestation of ourselves, our body temples, also the manifestations of our life, our relationships with people, our spouses, our friends, our children, our acquaintances, our relationships to other things such as money and financial abundance, our relationship to health and well-being. And there's so many other categories of what we would call manifestations that may not necessarily be as visible as the oak tree, but still become the part of our life that if we change our thought, we can change it for good. There's a power for good in the universe and we can use it. And just like the seed that became the oak tree, perfect example to conclude on, is that we are blessed by its shade. We are blessed by its gifts. And you all have gifts. You all have that unique shade that supports another. And when you realize that, the oak tree doesn't sit there and say, why am I not like the palm tree? Doesn't live in comparison. Doesn't live in self-judgment. Oh, my bark is just too thick. I should have more leaves on one there. Doesn't live with judgment. You know, doesn't sit there and say, I'm just not good enough. But in the human existence, sometimes we do that, true? I know I do. And yet, when we understand that that triune nature of the one mind that is always going on, that the moment that we come into the judgment or the feeling of lack, we are planting a new seed. We are drifting away from the perfection of the divine I am within inside of ourselves, the perfect oak tree. And if we look to our shade, our gifts, use our own beauty and live majestically like the oak tree without judgment and without comparison. It's like cells of a body. The heart cell never says to the liver cell, hey man, you got to be like me. The liver cell is a cell. The heart cell is a cell. They're unique. They're one with the divine. But yet they do their purpose. They do their purpose. And yet we are all cells of the mind of God. We are all, even though we're unique, and we have this feeling of sometimes comparison. It's like being that unique puzzle piece. That puzzle piece you have in your hand, and you're sitting there and you're saying, it's the same color, it's the same shape. You try to jam it into that void and it doesn't work. Be the perfect puzzle piece that you are and know that the adjacent pieces will be supportive. There is nothing that you can have greatness in the fullness of who you are away from any other being. The more that you, in the special qualities of what you are, the more that you shine your light, the more that you illuminate the pathway for others. So stand in that greatness. You become a shining example, and at the same time, your gifts. We weren't put here as a one-person planet, right? It wasn't just me sitting here as a one-person planet. We were meant to commune. We were meant to get together. We were meant to support each other. We were meant to uplift each other. And knowing that there is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. You are blessed with this understanding, which is the true freedom, the true liberation of what humanity can bring forth into the idea of this planet. And the very thing is to accept. Love is those things that we would call acceptance. It is non-judgmental. It is allowing into knowing the beauty that was in. And to understand, as this next song shares, that you are so beautiful.
I know that all of you, because we're all boomers, right? Or most of us are boomers. All of us know this song. So I want you to sing it to yourself. And then turn and sing it to someone else. And then turn and sing it to the world. But let's start with ourselves. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. Sing it to your heart. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. Now turn to somebody near you, doesn't matter who, and just tell them how beautiful they are. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. Oh, beautiful to me. Let's hold hands and just sing it to the whole group all at once. Just everybody here. If you want to stand and sing this, it's okay. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful. No kissing. To me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me.
I would suggest as homework, you sing that to yourself in the mirror for the next, I don't know, 100 years. Since I'm taking Ron's example of not having had a midlife crisis, so just double wherever we are today, or maybe add some to that. My aunt that I told you about last week was almost 93, and I was asking her inspiration for becoming sober after 73 years of not being sober. And I said, did you have the idea, like my friend Ron, that maybe you've got another 93 years in you? So here we are. So we've had the divine idea. We've had this infinite field of creativity, the mind, where it knows no judgment, where we're allowed the infinite expression of spirit to burst forth in our form, this beautiful form. Depending on your body size, somewhere between 50 and 80 trillion cells. Just the fact that you're sitting here in form is an absolute miracle, that all those cells, they're not going their own way, are they? They're all somehow agreed to be in your body, expressing uniquely and divinely as you. Each one, as Ron says, the liver isn't saying, hey, heart cell, come on down here and be like me. It's saying, do your thing. You got to pump that stuff through the body so that I can get cleared out, that the other parts can be fed. It's all happening. And like each cell, we have a unique and divine function. Reverend Teresa, I think, said it last week or the week before, that each time we expand ourselves into a new expression, spirit. Think about that. Each of you beautiful people, you beautiful expressions, has the power to expand spirit in every moment. It's, seeing Satya sitting over here, it's the infinite improv, isn't it? When you wake up in the morning, what shall I be today? What shall I become today? What shall I do to express myself in a new and a bigger way? And we have the infinite mind that reminding us that we have that perfection and that power and that presence to do that. We have the divine idea flowing in, knowing that it can grow and express in form. That what idea is there bubbling as the seed ready to break out of its form, to break into form as that next thing that you do. If you provide services in the world, to provide the best service you've ever provided before. Or as a plumber that I heard about in Los Angeles, if he did a repair, he always did one more thing beyond the basic repair. His idea was, I'm going to leave it better than it was before it got broken. An extra shut-off valve. You know, we think about what plumbers can do that maybe you wish they had done that later on when there's some sort of problem. But giving, it's just giving forward a different way. So it's express that one more thing, that new way of being. We're expanding, not just ourselves, we're expanding the universe. And when we see things we don't like, it's for us to hold the idea of what we would like. You know, we talk about unity, being of one mind. Well, wouldn't it be wonderful if we were moving in the direction of a divine agreement? We all want to express and enjoy and love and be beautiful in our own beautiful way. This is where we act. This is where we move. This is where we become, we share, and we gift forward each and every day. Maybe Phil, another verse just to allow us to close on this idea. You know, look at someone, look at the nature around you, and just feel these words.
You are so beautiful. To me. are to me. You are so beautiful to me.
How beautiful you are. Just look. Beautiful smiles. Love it. And so in that space, giving forward, it is our time for offertory and recognizing, knowing that as we give forth from the abundance that has been provided, knowing that the infinite has poured in through us and we get to express out by giving forward, knowing that as we give, we make space for more to come through. First time I heard that, it didn't make sense, but the more I practiced and the more I saw how it worked, I realized that clearing out the old, sometimes just having that money sitting around, needs to be cleared out, needs to be moved on to another purpose. So even that lady's homelessness, whatever she had needed to be repurposed, and she needed another way to find to express herself. Probably didn't feel good at certain times. And if you've ever lost a lot, I've been through that myself. It doesn't feel good while you're going through it, but when you see that you know that there's something beyond and that we're all taken care of in the end, we move through. So I just know that as I believe our technology is allowing the ways to give to stream, I see Laura nodding her head, stream across the screen there for those folks at home, and I hope you enjoyed our impromptu under experience here. Know that we bless the giver and we bless the gift. Know that we are coming together in unique and divine ways to create this powerful ministry right here in Sarasota, Florida. And so it is. We have
Right, so
we do have one
as we disperse into the ethos, let's go out with a sense of appreciation for the place that we live in, the place that we can enjoy and love. In a couple of days, it's the 4th of July. 140, maybe 47.
maybe 47.
I think it's 47.
Before you jump into that, we have one.
Oh, yeah, we got an
Satya, did
announcement.
you want to say something?
Don't stand in front of the, just come back here. Yeah, can't stand in front of the speaker.
Oh.
So just come back
Here, come on back.
here. Satya. All right.
Yes.
We have the code now.
No.
Phil, what would you say about it? Phil is one of the best improvisers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to tell you, if you've never experienced it, you need to experience it. If you have experienced it, you want to experience it again. If you think you may not ever want to do this because you don't think you can do it, you can.
There we go. All right.
So let's go out now with a tribute to our beautiful country. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, of good and plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Just think about this land that we're in. Freedom that we have to be here this morning. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grace, for bird playing, America met His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We did it.